Greetings, fellow balloon nerds and organizational aficionados, and welcome to another cart tutorial. My name is Christopher Lyle. I am the guy in the yellow suit. Well, usually. Anyway, I thought because it's February 2024, it's been quite some time since I have done a cart tutorial or a cart review, or whatever you want to call it, that I would go ahead and create a new video to share with you all the new fun little gizmos and thingamajigs that we've got in my cart now. I'm going to build this thing from the bottom up, so you will see everything that you need to do to be able to have the exact same setup that I'm using. Now, I'm not suggesting that you go out and purchase every single thing to make the exact thing that I have. But if you can glean any fun little details from this video that you can use to help yourself in your own balloon organization, well, that's what I'm here for. I am happy to help. So let's jump in. Step one of the cart construction is a little arts and crafts project. You need to go out to your local hardware store, Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace Hardware, whatever you happen to have in your area that sells lumber. Okay, this is just a piece of scrap wood that I'm using as a sign for you guys. This is birch, okay? I like using birch. It doesn't warp. It tends to be a much stronger wood than like cheaper woods that are out there. But you're looking for 1/2 inch diameter wood, okay? And whatever type of wood you're going to buy. And you want to have it cut to these dimensions, 13 by 17.5 inches. This is not cut to the correct size. This is just a piece of scrap. You will see that once we head out to the garage, which we are going to do momentarily, so you can see what we're going to do with this. All right, welcome to the garage. As you can see, I have made a little costume change because this is going to get rather messy. This is also a very lengthy process, if I haven't already said that before. So I've got two pieces of 13-inch by 1/2 inch by 17.5 inch birch that I use to support the shelving unit on top of the Zuca and my cart on top of the shelving unit. As you can see here, I have already sanded it with my Ryobi sander. I use 220 grit to start, just to give that primer coat something to stick to. I can set this down now. And we're gonna start off with my primer. So I'm going to do 3 coats on each side of these boards. And I prefer the Rust-Oleum American Accents 2X Ultra Cover. It's overkill. You really don't have to use this because I'm also going to be using the exact same brand of spray paint in black to cover these, and that also contains primer. But you know, it's all about trying to protect this wood as long as possible. These are going to be out in the elements, and they're going to get a beating over the course of the next year to year and a half. I want to make sure that these are going to remain as pristine as possible, as long as possible. So let's get started. All right, and as you can see, our first coat is on there. I'm just going to go ahead and do the other coats without having to show you each individual step, because that would be really boring for you. But the idea, each side gets 3 coats of primer. So it's about 24 hours later, and both sides now have 3 coats of primer. So we are ready for our first coat of black. And again, just like the primer coat, I like to use the Rust-Oleum Painter's Touch 2X. It's like double coverage, high gloss. That way I know that the wood is going to be nice and protected for a very long time. Because like I said earlier, this is going to get pretty beat up over the course of the next year. So the more protection we have, of course, the better it is. I'm going to do 3 coats on each side, but in between every coat, I'm gonna come back over here and I'm gonna use my sander, but I'm gonna use 400 grit sandpaper. I normally would use 500 grit, but 400 is fine. It's also all that I could find, so I'm fine with that. So is it overkill? Of course it is. But I like it to have a nice mirror shine, a mirror finish, so I can actually see my reflection in the wood. So we'll get to it. Okay, so as you can see, first coat is on. 24 hours has passed, so I know that is good and set. I'm going to give it a sand. So this is what it looks like after coat number 1. And I'm just gonna come over here with my hand sander and give it a go. Everything is sanded. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna grab my black spray paint. We're gonna hit it up with a second coat on the tops of both and along the edges on both. And we will let that sit for another 24 hours. So we'll check back in with it tomorrow. All right, so we are back. I have lost count how many days it's been since I've been in here with everyone, but here we are. All of the coats have been applied. It looks like it's soaking wet, but as you can see, it's totally dry. So we'll zip this around here so you guys can get a better look. So I said I wanted a mirror finish, and as you can see, a mirror finish I have achieved. So it is a process. It is most definitely a process. One that takes a lot of patience. Basically, after you've primed everything, you give it a single coat, and then you wait 24 hours, and then you sand it, and then you spray it with another coat, and then you wait 24 hours, then you spray it with another coat, then you wait 24 hours, then you've got to flip it over, and you've got to do everything again. So as you can see, front and back, 100% done. Or 95% done, I guess I should say. There's still one more step to this, and that would be my clear coat. That's right. So now we need to protect our wood. We've got everything looking nice. We've got everything pristine and pretty with our mirror finish. Now we just have to protect it. So the sanding is done. I don't do any more sanding, but the idea is each side is going to receive three clear coats of gloss, just to ensure that it protects and kind of seals and locks everything in. So it's about the same as what it was when I was priming it. I don't have to really necessarily wait a full 24 hours. They say that you should. I rarely ever do at this point. So I'll see you once I've got this down. And after a long, trying day, we have two perfectly clear-coated, sealed wood pieces that will be going on the cart. 1 and 2. Now, you might be questioning what those little guys are sticking out of it. Well, we will discuss more about that later, but for right now, these are screw eyes that I have placed in very important locations of the board. The screw eyes I'm using are number 10 screw eyes. They measure 1 3/8 inch. You can get these from any hardware store. Home Depot, Ace Hardware, Lowe's, whatever you have convenient for you. So, now that all this is done, let's head inside and put the cart together. All right, so you've seen what the boards look like now. They've been fully painted. I put these little screw eyes in, as you just saw, because these are going to hold the boards to the cart. Now, you're probably questioning, what do we actually need these boards for? Well, if we look here, this is the CRAFTSMAN drawer system, all right? This is what my balloon bag is going to sit on top of. The idea is I need it to lift the bag up to make it a usable height when I'm working. I don't like having to bend over to grab the balloons. And I figured if I have to have it lifted up and raised anyway, I might as well have that space beneath the bag make sense. So this is the CRAFTSMAN drawer system. We'll get more into what I have inside later in the video. But the idea, I have put Velcro there on the bottom. You can see that there. And, oh, I should also show that I have pre-drilled 4 holes, okay, right on the sides of the wood. Those are important. And then I've got the second piece of wood that has more screw eyes and more Velcro. So this piece of wood is going to be the bottom. So basically this will fit on top. Spin around this way. That's going to fit on top like that. And then this fits on top like that. So let's talk about just the bottom first. We are going to attach this to the bottom piece, and it's going to be one solid unit. And then I can set this with the Velcro on top of the actual cart itself. So let's get into that. Okay, so I've got the drawer system on that bottom piece of birch. And I've got it positioned in such a way that those holes that I pre-drilled are exposed on the sides and on the back. And you're going to notice that the drawer system itself, on the side, there's these little slots. Now, these slots are there because the idea is you would buy multiple of these drawer systems and they stack on top of each other and they just lock together with these little guys. We don't care about that. But I'm going to actually screw through these into the wood to attach the drawer system on that side and again on that side. I'll pull out my drill and bust a cap. Whatever. Anyway, I've got screws. Hopefully you can see that okay. They're just small screws because I don't want to screw all the way through the wood. I want to make sure that these go in without popping out through the bottom. That would be bad. A little kind of a hack for doing screws into wood is if you light the screws, if you heat them up a little bit first, the wood won't split on you. I don't know if you knew that or not, but just a little woodworking tip from me to you. So the idea is I'm just going to heat that just barely, just enough. And we'll come around to this side. So that's got a little bit of heat to it. I'm just going to place it into one of those grooves. Okay, you can see that there. And then I'm going to screw it so now that is in the wood, and I'm going to do that 5 more times, all around. Okay, so as you can see, we'll come on down here, take a look. I now have these all screwed in. I've got 3 screws there and 3 screws there. And again, you want to make sure that the screws are short enough so you don't drive through the wood. That would be bad, okay? Now, additionally, as I showed you before, you want to make sure that these 4 little holes that I have pre-drilled in the wood are visible because we're going to use these to help attach this entire unit to the cart. Now, we will attach this guy momentarily, but for right now, let's grab the cart. Okay, this is my Zuca cart. I purchased this last year from Zuca.com. This is the Zuca Golf Transit cart. I used the Zuca Sport for years, and I finally said, I'm done. I can't take it anymore. The older I get, the more my clients tend to want to have gravel in their driveways, or I've got to go march up grass or, heavy inclines. Those little rollerblade wheels, aren't they cute? Yeah, they don't do anything. They are the worst wheels. I think every Zuca cart should come with these wheels. These are all-terrain wheels that go over anything like butter. Seriously. I have not had any issues with any terrain that I've faced. Gravel, heavy mud, grass, whatever. This thing rocks through it. So, come on up, and I'm going to give you a little tour of our Zuca cart. So, like I said, this is the Zuca Golf Transit. It comes with a telescoping pole. This comes completely off, okay? So it's adjustable. You can see on the side here, you can have that any height that you want with all those deals there. I'm just gonna, I guess we'll keep it off for now. So I have Velcro right here. That's going to help in attaching the drawer system that we've been working on. This opens up, and you've got this nice little storage compartment in here. We don't really have full access to this once the cart is built. We can still get in and out easily. We just can't really open this up because, well, the drawer system's on it, and that's always going to stay on it. That's not going to come on and off of the cart. But anyway, a nice little drawer system. I keep thinking maybe there's some way I can have my pump in here so I don't have to have a side table, but maybe that'll be for a future video upgrade once I figure out exactly how to do that. Anyway, moving on. So that's just going to stay closed. In this front pouch, this is where I carry all of my 646s and 660s because I don't really have room for them in my bag. And on the sides here, it's where I carry all of my headbands on both sides, little netting there. And then on the bottom here, this is just extra storage for whatever I might need. So I'm going to grab our drawer system. And the idea, I'll spin this around backwards so you can actually see what's going to happen. So the idea, I've got those two screw eyes in the back. Right there, okay? And I'm going to position those so the pole fits in between. And now I can just push down on that Velcro. This is industrial strength Velcro. It will support up to 40 pounds. So I know once it's on there, it's not going to really come off too easily. However, we are going to zip tie it. I got all this stuff back here. We're going to use zip ties, a balloon artist's best friend. Okay. So, I'm going to take a zip tie. I'm going to feed it through one of those screw eyes, and it's going to go behind that pole. I know you can't really see it, but that's fine. I'm going to position it so when it comes out, it's going to go through that other screw eye. And I'm going to pull that as tight as I can. I'll trim it here in a minute. Now, this is where the pole becomes a bit of an issue. And it's not something I realized until I built this the first time last year back in 2023, and I realized I had an issue. The other Zucas have that telescoping handle that's like a U shape. Kind of comes up and comes back down. I really wish that they would make this cart with that handle. This is not the best handle. I mean, it's super sturdy. The problem is this becomes like an axis where something can swing around it. Therefore, if you just have this one zip tie like that, it is possible with enough jostling it around that Velcro may not hold it, and this whole unit could actually pivot. I said axis. This becomes a pivot point where everything that's on it can pivot around the pole. That would suck, and I learned the hard way. That is why I have pre-drilled these 4 holes, because I can now take a zip tie. I'm going into that hole. I'm going to come all the way down. And I'm just going to zip tie it to the cart. Like that. And I'm going to do the same thing 3 more times. Okay, zip ties are on. I'm going to trim the zip ties. I'm just going to trim the one and then I'll zip through everything. See what I did there? Zip through everything. It's like humor, only not. Yeah, it's fine. Come on down. So I'm going to trim that zip tie. I'm going to get it as close as I can. The problem is even trimming it as close as you can, there's still a jagged edge that's sticking out there. And I don't know about you, but I've got the worst luck in the history of luck. So I've got a toenail clipper that I'm going to use, and I'm just going to trim the edge of that off. That was the sharp, jagged part. Now that is perfectly smooth. It's not going to stab me, or rake across my leg if I'm walking around it, or snag my suit or any of that stuff. I'm going to knock off all those, and I will see you in a second. Okay, Velcro. I like getting the industrial strength 2-inch strips. You can buy it in a roll, but it's usually way more than I need, then I'm stuck with it, and I just get the little strips. As you can see, I've already got this here. That was from the last time I had to build the cart. I just stayed there up on top. But what we're gonna do on this piece, you'll notice that I've already got Velcro on the board. So I've got the rough side here, so I need the soft side that's going to go just on the corners here, and then it's already there in the middle to secure. This is going to not only add padding so this doesn't get all scratched up, not that you really see it, but again, this is also going to help secure this to the top without it falling off. So all I do is take my Velcro 2-inch strip, I peel off the back, and I'm just going to stick each one right in the corner like that, and they'll just go in the corners like so. I should have mentioned this before, but another option, since you've already got the Velcro on this board, instead of just placing them in the corners, just go ahead and place the opposing Velcro onto the other Velcro. That way you know it all matches up. So we've got the screw eyes here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to position those screw eyes the same way that we did before. I'm now going to come down to the drawer system, and I can now push that Velcro in place. and it's on there. It's not going anywhere. However, I want to make sure it's not going anywhere. So we need more zip ties. The zip ties I've been using up to this point are just like standard 8-inch zip ties. We're going to upgrade in just a moment to these 18-inch bad boys right here, and you will see why. But for now, the same way that I did it right down here, I'm just going to take that zip tie, I'm going to put it through the screw eye, it's going to come back behind the pole. Got to kind of mess around with it and play with it for a minute just to get it to pop out where I need it. On the other side, there we go. So it comes through that other screw eye. And now I can just zip tie it. Right to it. Now, a problem occurs because I guess maybe I'm overthinking it. And maybe I shouldn't, but I overthink everything. A problem could occur in my brain that this is still not secure enough. And there's no way for me to guarantee that that Velcro is going to be 100% secure and stable and that that zip tie is enough. Because remember, this pole acts as a pivot and I don't want this top piece swiveling around. So to make sure that it doesn't, 18-inch zip ties. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through these screw eyes. I'm going to come down just like I did before. It'd be helpful if I turn that the correct way. There we go. And I can now zip tie that together if it was long enough.
Oh, crap.
I just now realized that I bought the wrong zip ties. I didn't realize it until I was making this video, but I normally get the 24-inch zip ties. They come in 24-inch, they also come in 32-inch. 32-inch was just too long, 24-inch is usually what I get. I ended up getting the 18-inch, so these aren't long enough to do what I need to do. Let me just show you what would normally happen, okay? So I'm gonna take this zip tie, it's gonna come down. I'm gonna then position it behind the frame on the Zuca cart. And it would come up, and then I would just zip tie it. And I would do that 4 times, 1, 2, 3, 4. However, because I didn't do that, there's a fix. I'm gonna zip tie a zip tie together for the purpose of this video. I'm gonna go back in later and I will put the correct size zip ties on. It's not a big deal. So the way that's gonna work is this is gonna go through. That's now locked into place. And I'll do the same thing here. Just like that. I will then trim just like we did before. And I'll take my cutters and I'll just trim off those rough edges the way that we did before. All right, and as you can see, we're all done, at least until I go out and buy the right size zip ties. Can't believe I did that. It happens, you know. So all attached, all trimmed up, and this is now one solid unit. It's not going anywhere. I can physically pick it up just from the actual drawer system and everything picks up. this is as sturdy as I think it could possibly get. Okay, so let's talk about what I have in the drawers. So, like I said earlier, I figured if I was gonna use something to raise my bag to a workable height, I might as well make it make sense. So again, this is the CRAFTSMAN drawer system. You can buy these at any hardware store or Amazon, whatever you want. We'll come on up, we'll go into the top drawer first. So I've got my business cards. These are my business cards. These are my agent's business cards. They look very similar, except you will notice on my business card versus my agent's business card, I purposely had an outline going around like this because I wanted to be able to keep the cards separate. I wanted to be able to make sure that when I'm on a gig that my agent has me on, I don't accidentally give out my business card or vice versa. So I needed something because I'm too stupid to keep track of that myself. So anyway, wrong one. But I've got my business cards because I'm also a magician. You never know when that moment might spring itself. I have a pack of playing cards. I've got my Neoloons, my balloon lights. I've got my craft beads. This is what I use for when I have to do a raisin twist, which honestly I rarely do anymore. I just usually will do a sidewall bubble. Got my jingle bells. I've got my glue dots in Chia. These are the permanent glue dots that I get from Amazon. You can go to like Hobby Lobby and places like that, but you can buy them in a pack of 6 through Amazon.com, and they've got a lot better deal if you buy the case of 6 versus buying them individually. So then I've got my ticket stamp for closing my line. Anyone who happens to own Line Work Lyle Style and or my book entitled Toe the Line, you know all about what that ticket stamp is about for closing your line at the end. Coming down to our bottom drawer, more business cards. So I do 2 characters. This is my business card. These are both my agent's business cards, but that is for Ostaf the Crow Scare. Everything about him is backwards, even his name. Yeah. Ostaf backwards is Fatso. Aren't I clever? And then my holiday cards for Topher the Toy Maker. And these actually go to a holiday website, both of these do, that is tracked through my agent. So I just keep those down here. I've got an extra phone charger. I've got Tylenol because I work with kids. Actually, the kids are fine. I work with their parents. We've got these little rubber balloon dog animals, or not just like balloon dog animals, but just rubber balloon animals in general that I keep. This is like a little kitty cat. You've got a little butterfly. Flappy, flappy, flappy. These are great. I'll get more into how I use these later, but not right now. Actually, if you have purchased my download entitled Line Work Lyle Style, you learn all about what these are for and how I utilize them. Band-Aids, because you just never know. These are rubber latex gloves that I use for making the high five hat. Pipe cleaner that I use for certain designs. I've got my rouge, not for me, although I would look sexy as hell if I put this on. I prefer, this is Revlon number 7. It is peach velvet, and it's a powder blush. I use that for when I'm doing like little princess faces or baby faces, just a little bit of that, and just smear it on the balloon just to give them rosy cheeks. I've got a small pair of cuticle scissors. Underneath that, because I offer a lot of surprises. Ah! Yeah, surprise! Were you surprised? Yeah, because I offer a lot of surprises. I think I just scared the crap out of my camera person. That's amazing. Because I do a lot of surprises, this is just like a little cheat sheet on some of my favorite surprises. Ninja hot dog, Hello Kidney, measuring tapeworm, nunchucks, on and on. Just ideas that, because I can't ever tend to remember things the older I get. So I just got a little cheat sheet on some of my favorite surprises to make. And these guys are awesome. These are lights. So when I'm working in low lighting situations, usually outside at night, when will clients ever think to have lighting outside for us? They never do. I have tried different systems where you put like the little LED lights going around that connect to the battery, and you know, for me that just doesn't work. They always want to get in my way, or as I'm grabbing for the balloons, I pull it loose. I know I've seen people sew it in. I'm not trying to do all that. These are just like book lights. The idea, you would hook it onto like whatever book you're reading, and you can bend it down so when you're actually like reading your book, it will shine on your book and you can read it. So what I do is I've got these guys and I just hook each one to each side of my bag and I point those down. I can angle that however I need and it fully illuminates the bag. When I'm done, they just pull off. I turn them off and then I can stow them back inside. Easy breezy, lemon squeezy. Usually. Okay. Whoop. Simple as that. And now for the star of the show. This is my balloon bag. This is the Aloha XL. It is the largest Aloha in the Aloha series, available from Ron Fowler, also known as Flower Clown, at bagaloon.com. Bagaloon.com. I will unzip the awesomeness for you. And you can see this thing holds a ton. Not just up here, but around the sides as well, even on the back. It's got the large pockets. I will give you a full breakdown of just what the entire load capacity of this thing is right now. getting the bag on the cart. So if I'm being honest, this bag, when it's fully loaded, I actually have it overloaded. I'm surprised it's not busting at the seams, but Ron makes high quality products, so it will never bust. But I have found, for me, to lift this huge bag up, the bag alone weighs about 45 pounds, give or take an ounce here or there. When this handle is in place, I find it very cumbersome to have to take the bag, lift it all the way up, and let it slide down over top of this handle. So, my fix for that is we take the handle off. I'm gonna rezip this bag. All right, come on over. So, if you're unfamiliar with how the Aloha bags work, there's a pocket in the bag that goes all the way down and out the bottom to allow for the Zuca handles. Ron designed all of the Aloha bags specifically for that reason. So what I do is I crank my hand down there first, like you've seen. Now I'm gonna pick it up and I can set it over this part, which makes it so much easier. So this, I can fit right over that part of the handle. And then I can take my handle. You have to kind of get used to doing it blindly, but the idea is I'm going to push in on the little dealy bob right there. That's a new term, dealy bob. Don't forget that. Push down. And you just have to kind of play with it until it clicks in place. All right, so now, for the most part, I am good to go to wheel it in and out of the gig. I said almost. So I said almost. You will recall at the very beginning of this video, I talked about the handle. It is a single pole that acts as a pivot point. We know the drawers aren't going anywhere. However, the bag, if you try to roll this in the way it is right now, I guarantee you'll get 5 feet and this bag is going to start to pivot. It's going to swing around the pole, which is going to capsize the cart while you're trying to drag it in. My first event using it, that's exactly what happened to me. I was like, I have wasted all my money. It was a super quick, inexpensive fix to make sure that doesn't happen. Bungee cords. Yes. So, in and out of the car, I have bungee cords. When I get this put together, right out of the car, I will take bungee cords and I go one on the bottom here. I'm going to stretch it. I'm going to go over to the back. It'll just hook onto the back part of the frame. Easy breezy. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the sides. There. And all the way over to the other. Make sure that you've got these connected securely. I just did not. On the frame, there's these little holes, and that's normally what I just secure that through on both sides. So now, this thing is good to go. I can travel with it. I know it's not going to flip over. I can roll it anywhere I need. And it is a solid unit. Okay, so this is the cart itself. Fully loaded with everything secure. Let's talk about the accessories. Okay, so we're at the event. The way that the Aloha bag was initially designed is for you to unzip it. You can then roll that up. And then there's little straps in the Aloha bag that will then roll over and it secures to keep that flap opened. I don't use it that way because for me, I want there to be some type of branding on my bag that they can see. So I had a local artist out here. His name is Matthew Spraggins. I'll put his contact info down below. Matthew Spraggins really does the most amazing caricatures that I have ever seen. I've used other people to do caricatures for my job, but Matthew is the best, in my opinion. Matt Spraggins, thanks again for all that you do for me. And he has created these little signs, actually not the sign itself, but all the artwork, the graphics for it. This is my normal, everyday sign when I work. But he has also done that for my characters. I've got my Crow Scare character, Staff, and then I've got my Topher the Toy Maker. So when I'm working those events in character, that's the sign that I have on the bag. So the idea, the front looks really good. The back is ugly. Yeah. So I have these made up at Fast Signs. I'm not going to quote what Matthew charges for his caricatures because I'm sure they're all on an individual basis. Reach out to Matt to get pricing for the caricature work. But for Fast Signs, which is just my local sign shop that's about 5 minutes down the road, ran me about $50, and they were able to make this. So, and each sign was like $50. And then I went out and I purchased neodymium magnets, the super strong rare earth magnets, and I have 13 on this. Yes, it is overkill. I overkill everything because I care about how things look. I want to have pride in my bag, and I want to make sure that this isn't going anywhere. And you have to remember that you've got kids that might, you know, if your line management skills aren't stellar, they might try to pull on the sign. And I want to make sure that if they ever get that close, which for me they don't, but I just want to make sure, you never know what's going to happen while you're in the field, that this sign isn't going anywhere. So what I do is on the flap itself, this is going to be displayed. So I position it about where I want. And if you look over my shoulder here on the table, you can see I've got 13 neodymium magnets all lined up and ready to go. So I'm just going to grab one and I stick it. And I'm going to do the same thing 12 more times. And I'll see you on the flip side. And the sign is now in place. So on one side it looks like that, and on the other side it just folds down. I always keep this on. So when I roll out to a gig, this is always like that. Okay? And the idea, when I get there, I can just unzip it. I fold it out. This also fixes a problem. Here, I'll roll it back. This also fixes a little problem because when kids see all these colors and balloons, what do they want to do? Ooh, I want to grab, look, pretty colors, balloons. Well, if you keep this down, guess what? They no longer see them. So they're not right there at their grabbing level visually. This hides that. So it does two things. It hides the balloons, and it also provides branding so people can see the guy in the yellow suit. They can see that, you know, I've got like the little balloon dog. I've got a little monkey puppet, which is part of my magic show. And I've got like a little card coming out of my sleeve, so it indicates that I also do magic. It's just nice. It's kind of like a little conversation piece. This is made out of a material called polystyrene. It's kind of like a plastic PVC type material. So if you're going to your local sign store and you want to get something like this made for you, just make sure you ask them for polystyrene. Don't get metal. Metal can actually tear into the bag. You can also slice your finger on it. Again, I tell you these things because I've done it in the past. It's also very lightweight, so it's a good pliable material for what we do. Anyway, sign is in place. We can move forward. Next, ponytail holders. The looks I get walking into the store, buying thousands of ponytail holders alone is priceless. I use these for making bracelets. So when I'm doing a bracelet, I can just grab a little ponytail holder. These don't pull at your skin the way that if you used a latex balloon as your like bracelet strap, that happens quite a bit. These don't do that, so they're really nice. You can also find them without these little metal pieces on them, but these are the super cheap ones, and I tend to buy those, well, by the gross, just about. I get these from Dollar Tree. You can get 100 of them for $1, or actually now it's like $1.25, because they're now $1.25 tree, whatever. Anyway, I've got these really large carabiner clips, or however you say that, carabiners, carabiner, whatever. I get these, however you pronounce them, and they just hold all of my ponytail holders. And you can buy the ponytail holders in either these kind of dark, ugly colors, or you can buy them in the really fun, pretty rainbow colors. Don't buy the rainbow colors. And the reason why is because kids will then say, oh, I want the pink one. No, I want the bright green one. The things children fight over. They're not going to fight over these. Oh, I want the brown one. I want the black. They don't care. So these will just hook on to that ring on the side of my Aloha bag. And that's where they always stay. Now, we come over here and we've got some other fun little goodies. These little bags are made also from Ron Fowler, Flower Clown at bagaloon.com. These will hold extra Sharpies, and they also have extra pockets in the balloons. Or pardon me, they have extra pockets for holding extra balloons. All of these are where I keep all of my Geo Blossoms. These are all 6-inch Geo Blossoms. I know you're drooling. I know you're jealous. Of course, depending on when you're watching this, these literally may not even be available to buy, find or buy anywhere because they've been discontinued. Anyway, so what I do, I'm going to have you come on over here. You'll remember that I had these extra screw eyes attached to that top piece of wood on each side. And that's where this is going to go. So I've got my clips in place. One hangs there, and the other one will hang on the other side. I've got extra Sharpies, and I've got extra edding markers, because if you know me, I will blow through an edding at one event. Okay, and then I've got this little guy. This is also from bagaloon.com. It's not really meant for, like for markers. This is my scrap bag. And what I do with this guy is I'm going to hook it to that strap right there. That's part of what Ron had designed to hold a Sharpie pen, which I don't use, and I will explain why later. And then I just hook it to that ring, and that always stays put. So when I'm working and I tear off my scraps, I just toss them right into the bag. And that way I'm not littering all around me. And I don't have to worry about setting it on a table and having it get tipped over or blow away, because it's always right there. And the added bonus is I can keep little things in it. I've got extra eddings, because again, I blow through them. And then I've just got an extra Sharpie marker. And what I have in here are all of my pastel rounds. And of course, I could never leave home without these guys. Just one more. For all those people that are like, oh, can't you make just one more balloon? There you go. Seriously. People. Anyway, and then I've got my little ring cutters. If you're not familiar with these, if you've never seen me ever in your life, which is quite possible, I don't use scissors a lot when I work. I rarely use scissors. These are ring cutters. I just have one on my pinky. So when I don't have a scrap. Actually, yeah, I do. I've got a scrap right here. I can just come up and I can slice through the balloon, and I don't have to worry about carrying scissors or, you know, any of those other tools that are used. For me, it's just one fluid ballet. So if I'm going to be inflating something, and then when I tie it, I just make it part of that same motion as I come in, and I can trim off my nozzle. Easy breezy, lemon squeezy. So, or I can use it to completely pop a balloon. Hooray! So, I love these ring cutters. Again, you can buy these on Amazon. They are adjustable. I'm gonna warn you, I don't have this problem, but if you have long hair, ladies, I would recommend not using these. I've heard so many horror stories of usually women that are wearing this and they go to like adjust their hair and they slice off a chunk of their hair. I'm not even kidding. I can't even imagine what that's like because I haven't had hair in forever. Anyway, so our ring cutter, I just have two on me right now. That goes on a separate clip, and then I just have that clip to the side there. And we are almost good to go. Almost done. So we have this pocket that's right here in the cart. That was the one that I had talked about earlier that you don't have full access to because you can't really lift that little hatch up with the drawer system and your bag on top of it. But we can still gain access to it. As you saw, it's a very large cavity. I said cavity. Okay. Anyway, what I store in there first, I have a Qualitex balloon pump, okay, just as a backup. We can't mouth inflate anymore, at least out here in Texas. I don't know where you're at, but here in Texas, nobody wants a balloon artist to show up and blow their COVID into a balloon. Here, have some coronavirus. Nobody wants that. So I have an electric pump, but in the off chance that breaks during an event, I need to have a backup. Okay, so I've got this pump that goes in. These are my InStand tabletops. Okay, more about these later. I really wish that I could eliminate these from my entire setup, but for right now they are a necessity. But still, these are super lightweight. I don't recommend any of the cheap knockoff versions you can get from Amazon. Go to InStand.com. These run about $150 a piece, give or take. The link will be in the description below, and you're going to need two of these. Both of these tabletops, easy access, you just slide right in. These are the tripods, which you will see later. The tripods for those InStands, they can also shove them in just like that. No muss, no fuss. The other thing that would go in there is my duct tape that I don't have any right now. I use yellow duct tape for marking off where my cue is and where I want the kids to stand. If you've read Toe the Line, or if you've seen Lyle Style, or Linework Lyle Style, you know all about that. So anyway, that is just about it. There are a couple more little details I'm going to throw at you. All right, so this is a separate case that I carry with me to all of my events. This is nothing more than a large lunchbox. Come on over and let's see what's inside. This has two separate compartments. There's a top portion and then there is the main inside portion. So we'll unzip it. And the first thing that we see is my business card holder. These are made by Joe Donovan, okay? His website is on the back. Hopefully you can see that. I'll also put that down in the description below. joes3designs.com. He basically 3D prints all of this cool stuff for balloon artists. This is my business card holder that obviously my business cards fit into. And it comes with this little guy that slides right inside, like so. And what you need is a piece of 1/2 inch PVC. This is just PVC tubing that I got at Home Depot, and I couldn't find any that was black, and I keep meaning to order it because you can order black PVC online. I just haven't. And this slides right inside of that. And I can then take this guy, let's spin the cart back around here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the PVC, and that is going to kind of cram all the way down through the bag. And then my little yellow balloon dog sits right on top. And then I can grab my business cards. And my business cards are now displayed. Too many. Are now displayed in full view for my event. And the problem that I always seem to have with business card holders in general is that you put them on a table and the table gets knocked over and the cards spill out, or the wind blows and the cards want to blow out of the little, Office Max type holders. That's not going to happen here. I don't need a table to hold my business cards now. They're at parent eye view. The kids usually won't try to reach up to grab one, but they are right at a good level for the parents to reach out and just snag a card if they want. And like this, I have a marker parker. This is a little Sharpie caddy, okay, that Joe also creates. Again, just 3D prints it. I'm just going to dump it out so you can kind of see more what it is. So that's what it is, okay? And it's engineered, this one is engineered for the Click It Sharpies, the little push button Sharpies. He makes them, I think, a little differently for just normal Sharpies, although this is a regular Sharpie and it fits in no problem. But I think he just makes them a little bit tighter if they're just a standard Sharpie marker. Pardon me. Oh, sorry. Anyway, so the idea with this is you load all your Sharpies in it. And for me, I do 2 black Sharpies on the edge. That's where that extra Sharpie came from that I lost at my other event the other day. And then I fill it in rainbow order, sort of. So I've got red, orange. I don't have a yellow Click It Sharpie, so I'm not gonna put that there because I'm neurotic and OCD and it would just hurt my head. So red, orange, no yellow, my green, my light blue, and then it goes back to the black Sharpies. Now for the eddings, Joe sends you these little black rings that fit over your eddings. I just tape them to it because I found that sometimes it'll just slide right through and then the edding might actually slide out the bottom. So I just put tape on it. It's no big deal. And that is meant for the top. If you look, that the 2 top holes are a little bit bigger than what those holes are for, and that is to accommodate the eddings. So I put an edding on each side, and then I continue. So blue, purple, and then I just feed in going across with yellow. I've got my lime green, brown, and pink. Okay, so I've got my marker caddy, or what I call a marker parker, now fully loaded. This little guy just slides right up in there, and then I grab another piece of PVC piping, PVC tubing. Same thing, just gonna find an empty gap somewhere, and I'm just gonna cram it all the way down. I'll spin the back, well, I'll just spin it like this for you so you can see it. So I don't have them out like that. These are facing towards me. I'm considering maybe putting like something silly here, like maybe like advertising space for rent or something dumb like that. I just think that'd be kind of fun. But yeah, so now when I'm working, I've got all of my Sharpies at a quick, usable spot that I can just drop them right back down in. So the Aloha bag on the side here, where I've got my little Ron Fowler bags, he has these bags made to accommodate a Sharpie. And the way that this works, you would insert the Sharpie upside down like this, put it through the loop like that, and you'd have the bag loaded with those. He's got like 2 or 3 on each side going all around the bag. And when you get to the event, when you're ready to use the pen, you just pull the Sharpie straight up and out of it like that. And then you can use it, and then you just leave it there. The problem that I had, even though that's a great idea, I was always forgetting at the end of my gigs to push those pins down and really get them nice and secure. I'd throw this back in the car, and then by the next event, that pin had dried out because I didn't secure it tightly. It's a great idea if you want to use it that way, but I prefer this because I forget so easily to really make sure that all of those Sharpies are like really in there. But again, for me, I just much prefer the little marker Parker up here at the top. So, yeah, these are printed by Joe Donovan. He 3D prints them all, and I absolutely love these things. They look professional, they help us look professional, and they help us do professional work. And in the bottom compartment, this is my pump. I use the Premium Smart Twist balloon pump. I absolutely love this thing. I used a Legenda for years, and you know, the early Legendas were amazing, but then they started going with like cheaper parts and cheaper batteries. They don't work as well as they used to, and I actually stopped using it. So I really prefer the Premium Smart Twist, mainly because it's lightweight. It's even lighter than the Legenda. It's smaller than the Legenda. However, it is equal in power to the Legenda. Whatever pump you use, either the Legenda or the Premium Smart Twist, you're gonna have a good pump. This is just gonna last longer. Also, this is going to hold up better, I think, because when, I guess it was the first weekend that I was using this, I accidentally knocked my table, and the pump flew off, or didn't fly off the table, but it rolled off the table, and it bounced across the sidewalk into a parking lot. And there wasn't even a scratch on it, and it still worked. I think if I did that with my Legenda, it probably would have just shattered and broke right there all over the place. This didn't. So I wish it wasn't in blue. I wish they came in different colors, but it's really a non-issue. The only things I really dislike about it, if I have to pick something, the Legenda has a metal nozzle. These are just plastic, which is what the pump is made out of. But again, it stays on the pump. It doesn't want to come off. I'm fine with it. It has a little attachment for doing 160s as well, and just flips on, little rocker switch on the side there, and it turns on. It's at 83% right now, 84%. I need to charge it. Yeah, I keep my pump in here just to keep it safe and protected, because they don't really provide a case for this, which is another bad thing. I guess there's more bad things about this pump, but I honestly think that the good things outweigh the bad. What I would love to do, and maybe this will be my next video that I'll create if there ever comes such a time, I would like for them to produce a hose that can attach to this, that I could run up, or I could keep this maybe inside of the cart somewhere, either in that, like the area where all my tables are right now, or even just on this very bottom part, where I could then run a hose to travel up through the bag, where then I don't need tables at all. That way I'm literally roll in and roll out without having to need a table, because I don't need a table for the markers or my business cards. Really all I need a table for right now is my pump. So, well, and my fan, but you know what I'm trying to say. So anyway, this is my Premium Smart Twist balloon pump. Okay, so let's set up the entire station. So I've just rolled out to the pitch, and the first thing I do is take my car keys. I'm just gonna hook them onto the little carbiner flip things so I don't have to hold them in my pocket. All right, I get these out, I get those installed as I already did. I make sure that the cards are in the correct direction. Okay, InStand tables. So I'm gonna pull out my tripods. So I love the InStand tables. These things are great. They've got, they are expensive. However, I really think that it's worth the money. So I'm gonna grab both tripods out. They're super lightweight. These are actually made for like court reporters. And I've been using these for years now. Michael Amar, who is famous in magic circles, is a real popular magician, is the one that actually turned me on to these at a lecture that I went to that he taught at. But I got my tripods. Okay, next I'll grab my tabletops, my InStand tabletops. Now let's get this one a little bit higher. There we go. So these just spin in place and then they lock. So that's the first one. And that's the second one. Perfect. My pump I normally have to my left. These I would fold up and they would just get stored, or stowed rather, back in the little lunchbox. And all that's left is my #1 fan. This is my fan club right here. Dad jokes. Yay! Anyway, because I am a fat, disgusting slob, I can sweat profusely going knuckle deep in a box of Cheez-Its. Seriously. So I have to have a fan. This is the rigid version of this shop fan. They also make one by Ryobi, I believe. So this is the Home Depot version. If you go to Lowe's, theirs is like lime green color. They're all the same. And they run on a battery. These run probably about 75 bucks. The batteries are about 200, depending on the amperage that you get. This is the 5 amp. This will last me for about 7 hours on full power without dying, so I'm happy with that. But that goes in, and that fan is also pointed directly at me, not out facing away from me. Fresh air. Woo. Yeah, that's nice. Okay. Anyway, so I've got my fan, and all that remains is my menu board and my closed sign. I love these. I used to use knot lamps, but I think these look far more professional. I think you will agree. Rob Balchunas turned me onto these. These run, you can get a pack of 2 for about 70 bucks on Amazon. They are adjustable, and you can either have your menus portrait or you can have it landscape, depending on the orientation that you prefer. So I've got these out at every function that I perform at. If I know it's gonna be windy, I'll put a barbell weight down here that just slides over the pole, and that way it's weighed down. You can also fill this base with water or sand, but that's a mess and I'm not trying to do all that. So anyway, like I said, Amazon, you can get a pack of 2 for like 70 bucks. So I got my menu there, and then when it's time to shut my line down, this goes at the back of the line, and I can get out on time. So I think that is really all that I can tell you about my cart setup. I've got a couple of drink holders down here. that I forgot to mention. That's where my Diet Coke goes when I'm at my events. That's the, like mother's milk for me. Gotta have my Diet Coke. But I think that's it. I think I have covered absolutely everything. Links for everything that I use will be in the description of this video. So I think I will go ahead and sign off for now. So until next time, stay yellow, my friends, and I'll see you later. Bye for now.